So we've learned a little bit about the worksheet and how we can have multiple worksheets. Before we go farther, let's go back and learn a little bit more about the ribbon. I mentioned that each one of these menu selections is called a tab, and each tab has its own ribbon, but I didn't mention that the ribbons are broken up into sections called groups. Notice here's the word clipboard, the word font. Each group is separated by a vertical bar. And in the bottom right corner of each of these groups, for instance, using the home font group as an example, if I put my cursor over this little button at the bottom right, it says font settings. Notice it gives a shortcut, Control-Shift-F. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that button, and it's going to bring up the Format Cells box. And notice it's got multiple tabs on it, number, alignment, font, and font is the one that is selected. Notice there is an alignment here. If I close this box, and if I go up here to the alignment group and click on the bottom right corner, I'm in the alignment group. Same Format Cells box, but I'm in alignment on the alignment tab. Now, before Office 2007, this is all we had, was this Format Cells box. You'd have to directly access this with a menu selection to do anything. But the ribbon is a perfect intermediary. If I close the Format Cells box, I don't have to bring that box up to do something. For instance, if I'm on A1 and I want this title bolded, all I have to do is look up and see here's bold, and I'll just click on it. And did you notice that when I put my cursor over it, it gave me the keyboard shortcut? They do that all the time. So Excel is really teaching you these keyboard shortcuts as you go through these different menu selections and the different ribbons. You'll also find that if I click back here on the font group, you'll also find that usually there are more possibilities if you go all the way to the Format Cells box. In other words, the ribbon doesn't have everything on it, but it has the most commonly used things. So we will be using this Format Cells box and the other boxes that the groups lead to, and also the ribbon many, many times throughout the course. Now I also wanted to show you how this Tell Me box works. I'm going to click on cell B1, it's just an empty cell, and then I'm going to click on Tell Me, and this is not a help system, it's just a helper to find commands. If I type %, notice it's got %style highlighted, and if I click on that, it doesn't take me to a %style help page or anything like that. But if I then type, say, 56 in this cell, notice it's given it a format. So the Tell Me didn't give me a help page, it actually did the command. It took me right to the % and formatted this cell. Now, depending on what you type into the Tell Me, you might have more selections. If I just type a general term like format, notice that there's several selections here and there's arrows, or there's triangles on the right. If I highlighted one of these and pressed enter, it wouldn't do anything because it's a menu. These triangles mean that there's a menu behind this, and if I was on number format, for instance, I would have to select from the menu out here on the right. So I'll select currency, and I've just changed my format from percentage to currency. So again, the Tell Me box is not a help system. Help is still at the F1 function key like it's been for a long, long time. If I press F1, here's the help system, and if I type currency in here and press enter, it will take me to a selection of help pages, and usually the top one is the most germane. If I click on Format Numbers as Currency, it's pretty good. It shows you where in the ribbon, for instance, you can choose currency, and then goes over it, and it has lots of illustrations. Notice it's showing us how to get to the Format Number group here. So the help system is really good. I'm going to click on the X here on the right to close it. Now, to finish up our look at the ribbon, I wanted to click File, the leftmost tab, and this is the one that's different. We've used it a couple times already. You click File and it covers up the worksheet. If you click it by accident, you can always click this left pointing arrow to go back, or if I'm on file, I can press the escape key to go back. The escape's in the top left corner of your keyboard. Now on file, we've already used the open command, and in the next lecture we're going to use save and save as, and we'll be using print. We also will be using close, and we'll be going through options extensively throughout the course. So we won't be covering everything in the file. Soon after this course is published, I will be picking up the rest of the commands on the file and putting in a section on all of those. So for right now, let's go back to the main menu, and I want to show you one last thing on the ribbon, and that's how to use the keyboard with the ribbon. I want you to press the Alt key. Just click it once. You don't need to hold it down. And notice what happens. You get these little boxes that give you a letter for the different pieces of the menu, the different tabs, and they try and make them mnemonic, like H for home, F for file, but sometimes those keys are used for something else. So if I typed P for page layout now, it would bring up the page layout tab, and not only that, but it gives me keystrokes for everything else that's in there. If I pressed escape, it would take me back a step. Now I could press H to go to the home ribbon, and let's say I wanted to make this cell percentage again. Notice there's a P under the percentage. I'll hit the letter P, and it's done the percentage format. If I wanted to change that back, I could just do Alt H, and then I could do AN and press enter to select an English currency format. So you'll get used to those keyboard shortcuts, and that's really handy when you get to the macros at the very end of the course. You'll find that if there's something you use all the time, instead of having to remember the complex sequence of keys, you can assign it to a single keystroke. In the next lecture, we're going to go through saving the file, opening new files, and what's save as, the difference between save and save as. So I'll see you in the next lecture.